Hey everybody, I know it's been a minute. Holidays kind of got in the way. Been a little while since I was able to put something together and edit some videos. I've got a bunch of footage from other hunts that I just haven't had the time to edit together and post. I will be doing that. I'm getting back into the channel again. Apologize about that, but go ahead and check out this hunt.
All right, everyone. It's another good day to be in the woods. Right now, I'm currently hunting a piece of public. I did not film my walk into here. I forgot, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the type of habitat that I found and why I wanted to hunt here. I had a question in one of the comments: why do I pick where I pick? And I'm going to let you guys in on that. All right, it's very subtle, but over here it just has palmettos, and I would say they're about waist high. So this place that I'm in particular is full of that. So that's not really all that diverse. That's everywhere. But I found that. You see how you can't see any further than that buck brush? That's about, I don't know, 30, 40 yards away from me. This would be an excellent bow hunting spot. I found some deer poop and hog poop as well, and plenty of white oak acorns. For those of you who don't know how to tell the difference between a white oak acorn and a red oak or a water oak, the white oak acorns are about the size of a dum sucker. So they're pretty big. It's like some of the biggest acorns that you're probably ever gonna find. So if you find those, especially if they're still good, you're in luck. That's like candy out here. Let's see what we can do. All right. I don't know if it was a doe or a buck, but if it was a buck, it was a very small buck. But I wasn't paying attention to my left side. I've been looking to my right into this thick brush, and when I looked to the left, it just walked out of sight. I got to see the back half of it, but man, even through all these palmettos, it moved like a ghost. I'm telling you, it didn't move one thing. Didn't move a leaf, didn't move a palmetto, nothing. It just vanished. It was almost like the ghost of a deer. That's how silent it was. Thought I heard something behind me. But that just goes to show you, even though it looks like that, they could still move silently. So you always have to stay on your toes. I'm learning the lesson just as much as anyone else. You might be in a good area and not see anything all morning long or all afternoon. And it might simply be because you just missed them. You weren't looking at the right place at the right time. So just keep your head on a swivel and don't move too much because you'd never know when you're being watched.
Well, I didn't come out of the woods with a big one. Just how it goes. That's just the name of the game. But I had a really good time, and as you can see, I had really good experience out there in the wildlife. Got to spot a few different hogs, a deer that slipped past me when I wasn't paying attention. Happens to the best of us. But I had a good time out there, and again, I know that most of y'all probably know where that's at. Just don't say in the comments. I don't want to be like all these sportsman's magazines and whatnot that blows out areas and different public land parcels for everybody. I just try to keep it discreet. We all kind of know where that's at if you hunt around here. Um, but nevertheless, that is an awesome area. That's an awesome habitat to hunt in. Totally different experience if you want to change up scenery. If you hunt piney woods and you want to change it up, man, go in there. That'll change you. Uh, that's only a place I want to go to when it's cold. I think I've said that in another video, but man, the snakes can get really bad in there, and I do not recommend going in there when it's hot. Um, but something that is really cool and unique to that particular WMA is those palmettos, obviously. They're just everywhere. There is not one piece of woods that does not have palmettos on it. The only spot you're going to find with no palmettos is the swamp. And a couple weeks prior, I was able to go in there through some dry swamps. That's what I used for my travel routes. And I just picked whatever swamp or old creek bottom that's dried up because of the drought, according to the wind. I would change. I never really go to the same spot twice. I just kind of scout as I go, new areas. That's kind of what I like doing. It doesn't really always get you the big bucks, but it gets you on some really good sign. If you just walk far enough and do enough map scouting, you can really get on some good deer consistently, even though you're in totally different spots every time. That's just a really fun way for me, for my style of hunting. But I'm rambling. I want to show you guys. I got a little gear dump that I'm going to do. I've never done this before, obviously. Um, but I have some things I got for Christmas. Shout out to family. And I've got some things from local shops that I want to show you guys. Take a look. One thing I got is a new set of arrows, the Barnett Headhunter 20-inch arrow. Let's see how many grains. It includes 100 grain field points, which that's the size broadheads I use as well, which is great. But the Barnett Headhunter is a 400 grain total with included 100 grain field point. So I'm not like a super big archery guy, so I don't know if that's considered heavy or not. But that's what I use currently on my crossbow, and it works great. And if you're wondering what kind of crossbow I have, it's just I think it's a Bear. I think it was called an Apocalypse. They got rid of that name. It's under something else, but it's the budget crossbow, like $300 or $400. But I use these crossbow bolts in it, and I was using the Muzzy Trocar HXB, but now I decided I wanted to go local since I'm Louisiana woodsman. Why not try to go with some local product? Let me show you guys. Trying out the Fire in the Hole solid broadheads. Very different. As you can see, it's got a ring, a blade ring, all the way around this triple bladed crossbow head. Um, I haven't used it, so I'm not going to sit here and be a fanboy about it when I've never even used it. But I have seen some pretty crazy results in pictures from these broadheads, and I'm really interested in trying them out, especially since, well, I think they're local. I've heard that these guys are from up in North Louisiana, but I'm not 100% certain. I know that I have heard him on a podcast that I listen to called Louisiana Bowhunter podcast. Some of you guys might have heard that. But the owner of this company talked about um, the reasoning behind the design of this broadhead. I really recommend you guys go listen to it. That's what got me hooked, and I looked them up, and now I have them. So now I'm going to try them. I'm going to try to sight them in. They're supposed to shoot like field points. It says every broadhead brand ever, but we'll see. We'll see how they go. But I thought that was a really cool addition. Something else I got, not local at all, straight up Chinese special from Amazon. New little headlight. My Streamlight, my typical, I think it's like a 400 lumen flashlight, and it had a hat clip on it. That was like my favorite light of all time. But I lost it when I was on my Tennessee out of state hunting trip. I don't know, maybe my jacket caught the pocket clip and pulled it out of my pocket when I'm walking. I don't know, but it's gone and they're expensive to replace. So I was about to just rebuy another Streamlight until I ran across this guy. So this, and it's in that hunting video. That's the light you see at night. Um, $30. It comes with a hat clip, really pretty tough hat clip, and this comes out, and it actually also gives you another attachment for a headband if you just want to wear it over a skull cap or something like that. But so it has a few different modes. It's got regular spot mode, it's got flood mode, and this plate comes up and has tilt. We'll see how long it lasts. And then it's got dual, and it's got a red light, and it's got red flashing. Um, but it's rechargeable, USB C, comes with a wire and everything. Excuse me. It's got the touch sensor. I don't like the touch sensor. You can turn that part of it off and on. In my mind, if I have that touch sensor on there and it's in my bag and the sensor gets touched by something else, and then this runs the battery down while I'm hunting, and when you pull it out your bag and you turn it on and it's not going to turn on because it's dead, I'm going to be really mad. It also has an indicator light on the back, that red light that tells you how much charge it has, full, half, low, dead. So that's another piece of my gear dump. Something else that I gotten. This is made in Louisiana. Buzzard Roost saddles, fully adjustable 2-panel saddle. Scored this at Bayou Land Bow Hunters in Broussard. Really good crowd over there, man. I recommend that store to anybody. Anything archery, they have it, and they have these. I didn't want to make a video immediately on them when I first got it. I wanted to make a few hunts out of it, see if I actually like it, because I'm not going to just blow smoke up you guys. I'm not going to sit there and tell you this is the best thing ever and I've never sat in it. So I went, made a few hunts in it, and I'm not going to say it's the best thing on the planet because I've only used 2 different saddles. One of them being this one, and the other one, my Hawk saddle. This definitely beats the Hawk saddle as far as adjustability and comfort, and the weight is about the same, so I'm not really worried about that. But I have kind of refined my equipment as far as saddle hunting. I'm going to show you guys. So I was going to get the pouches, the dump pouches for these things, but check this little bad boy out. That's from Academy. That's a little child's book sack. Very small. I mean, you can see it's little bitty. And I changed my rope to the 30-foot muddy safety line. Same stuff, but it's cheaper. It's I couldn't see spending $100 on some 8mm rope, and my descenders and ascenders aren't really rated for 9 mil. I think it says between 9 and 12 mil. So I didn't want to risk it. I know that I see other people doing it, but I'd rather just be safe. Something else. This isn't local either, obviously, but a Mad Rock Safeguard. So this is a really good descender. I had my other descender, my other belay device. This one does not descend as smooth as the other one. It just doesn't. Still gets the job done, and it's lighter than my other one. My other one was like a couple pounds, and this one is, I don't know, maybe it might come close to a pound. I'm thinking somewhere in the 12, 13 ounce range. So that's why I did this one. And doing this, I was able to downsize on my rope diameter. I think that one is a 9 mil. My other rope was a 10 mil. Or no, my other rope was a 13 mil rope. So that adds a lot of weight. It doesn't sound like much, and especially to you guys that wear climbing stands and hike out there a long ways, y'all are used to this. So this is nothing. Y'all are used to hauling 30 something pounds of gear out there. But me, I like walking really far, and I used to do it with heavy climbers, and I still would if that's all I was left with. And this sucks less, basically. less weight is much nicer to walk with. So let's go ahead and weigh my entire bag. Oh, actually, I'm going to show you guys my climbing stick. I modified it. It's still the Hawk Helium climbing stick, but I'm going to show you guys what I did. All right, so check it out. That's my 20-inch Hawk Helium stick with a new aider. Also got for Christmas. Shout out to my wife. Um, but I also cut off some material on this climbing stick. Now, I'm not encouraging anyone to go and butcher their climbing stick to save a few ounces. I'm just telling you what I did. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know if this affected the weight ratings. I imagine it didn't help them, but I did hunt out of it and I tested it out at the house before I went out and put my full weight in the middle of the woods on this climbing stick that I modified. So I will go ahead and show you what I did. But first, that's a good long rope aid right there. A lot better than my other one. My other one was like a single file strap with loops coming off of it, and you always had to mess with it with your foot. It was just kind of a pain and somewhat dangerous having to sit there and fish your foot into that loop and then pin your toe against the tree. This, it's open. Just put your foot in there and go. So that's what I wanted. But I don't have a picture of the original Hawk Helium design, but you see, I just stepped in my aider. But you see all these grooves right here? Well, that used to be more material right there. Look, this is the full width of the material that was there. So I notched out. I probably cut off an eighth inch of material off of both left and right on the front side and the back side. I took those suction cups off. I did that a while back, but I just took off unnecessary things off of this stick, and I do notice a weight difference. And I also rounded off these cornered edges because I don't have a platform. I just stand on the top of my stick as my setup. So those corners can kind of eat into your boot and make pressure points after a while. So I went ahead and just rounded that off. You don't want to do too much though, because these teeth on the top of these bars, it stops on that. So if you sand down too much, these will probably close and touch and clink right here. So don't sand too much off the top of here if you're going to do any of this. I also rounded off these corners off of the bottom. And when I'm climbing, I'll have this strapped to the tree. I'll climb up it, and then I relax in my saddle. I don't undo this strap around the tree. Okay? I just push my stick up and then shimmy it up the tree and relock it. It sounds pretty lazy, and it is, but I don't want to risk taking off this strap and redoing it and dropping my only stick. Now I'll be hooked up to my descender, so I'm not in any danger of being stuck in the tree, but it's very inconvenient and I will not be happy. So I leave it strapped to the tree and I'll just sit there and shimmy it up. It doesn't make any metallic sounds because you're on a wooden. It's a tree, so it's just bark scratching. And I've shot deer doing this season within the hour of setting up, and I've seen hogs within the hour of setting up. So I don't think this noise is really affecting much. I don't think it travels very far, and it's not like a super uncommon sound to hear bark being scratched in the trees. So I'm not concerned about the sound, but this is it. This is my modified Hawk Helium stick, and I've hunted off of this stick modified like this 3 times now, all of them being half day hunts, and I'm 220 pounds. So just it was safe for me with my method of cutting and rounding off these corners. So if you're concerned about safety, just have it in the back of your mind that I did try this myself. I didn't just do this and say, "Hey, come do this to your stick and go try it in the woods tomorrow." I did try it and it all worked. So, but yeah, that's how I lighten my pack. I'm gonna go ahead and put on that that new saddle and show you guys what that Buzzard Roost saddle is all about. Why is it a good saddle? What's its claim to fame? Okay, this is going to be some weird angles. I'm going to try my best because I don't have a cameraman. But this is the saddle on me. So you can see all these kind of unfamiliar adjustments to anyone who has a single panel saddle or someone who has never used a saddle. Um, some of the really nice features that this saddle has is, for the first thing, is this adjustable bridge. It has this Prusik knot right here with a Prusik knot tender. That way it pushes on this knot and it's all one-handed adjustments. So my other Hawk Helium saddle had a am steel bridge that was probably another, I don't know, 5 inches longer than this, which is probably a little bit too long, and I just didn't realize it because I'm not an expert and I never got to try anything else until I got to try this rope mod that they have already done to these saddles. So right here, if you feel like this is too much bridge, if you're too far away from that tree, you could pull this knot as far as you want, and when it gets pulled back, it locks in place. And if you want to undo it, you put backwards pressure right here on this knot, and it's going to go back to normal. And you're not in any sort of danger. It's always connected. The knots are very, very secure. Everything looks beautiful on here as far as sewing and material used. It looks very safe. I've not felt in any sort of danger using this at all. Um, but another nice feature of having this adjustable bridge is when you're walking through the woods, you don't have to have this slapping you in the knees the whole time or grabbing a briar and pulling it between your legs. And you don't have to do what I did with my last set, with my last saddle, and have to tuck it in the belt loop like this. You can just adjust this bridge all the way shut, and you just put your tag in wherever you want. But I just kind of do one of those with it, and the bridge is gone. It's nowhere is in your way. So, and it kind of acts like another belt. You could really tighten that thing if you'd like, and man, that holds it on good, and it doesn't restrict me in any way. I can still walk really well. So that's a plus side to having this bridge. Moving on to another feature, the double panel right here. You see these long tassels and these buckles right here? These buckles, you can either undo these buckles or you can adjust them by hand like this. I'm just pushing, I'm letting the slack feed through the buckle, and after you do that, you can pick up this second panel. Now when you're hanging from the tree, it's going to automatically want to slide up your back, so you're not going to have to hold it up in the air like I'm doing right here for you guys. But you see how high up your back that you could put this thing? I mean, this is like almost like a porch swing type deal. You can go way up here with it, and when you sit, it's like your backrest already, and you're supported all the way down to where a traditional single panel saddle would support you. And this belt comes up with this top panel right here. So when you're sitting, man, you're really comfortable. And right here, you see these am steel adjustments. Let's say you did set this thing up like this. And let's say I feel like I'm getting really tight pinch point right here. Well, if I sit up and let off a little bit of tension, you can move these Prusik knots up and down. See that, how I just slided it down that loop? Now it's pulling on this strap right here, and this one's completely slack. I just kind of keep them in the middle. I haven't really found like a specific um, adjustment that I love yet. But that's not saying that I'm not comfortable in this saddle. I'm extremely comfortable in this saddle as is. So but everybody's body shape is different. So if you have something going on, bigger hips, bigger stomach, bigger legs, you can adjust all of those pinch points out with this system. And for if you're just not can't get used to this system, this double panel, you don't have to use it. You could just cinch it all the way down, and now it's just a lower back support. It's really nice. I mean, man, I like it a lot more than my Hawk Helium setup. The leg straps, there's a single point connection. I'm not going to put the camera right there because that's kind of vulgar and gross, but there's a loop right here, a sewn in loop, and these straps are folded through, and they come out the front with these G hooks, is what they call them. They feel very safe. I like them better than the bigger buckles that were on the Hawk Helium. There were some fat buckles, like something like a tree strap almost, which adds weight to your setup, and it comes through these loops right here that also are dual purpose. They're advertised as thumb loops. So if you're sitting up in the tree and you feel like it's riding way up your back or going up your crotch, you got these thumb holes instead of looking for something to grab to pull this thing down and get yourself some slack back and get your saddle readjusted. But man, this pack right here, I know it's kind of floppy, and I just used some of that steel twist cable to secure it. But I mean, man, for $10 from Academy, it's got my rope in that pouch. In this little mesh pouch, I have my bow pull up line and my rope pull down line. That's how I retrieve my rope out of the tree. And in the front pouch, I've got my descender and also my tree strap to hold all my gear with the hooks on it. So, I mean, that's $10. I'll do that all day. Um, Carabiners I just used what was recommended by a friend of mine. He does rope access work in the oil field. Petzl. I'm not a rock climber or an expert of any kind, but he said that this is a really good brand and it's really light, and it's not the screw on type, like it's not the screw locking bridge. It's spring loaded. So as soon as I let go, it's locked in place. You don't have to think about it. Obviously, you wouldn't want to do that in the deer woods. You don't want metallic sounds, so you can walk it shut and it's silent. I always recommend having a handful of these in your pack. You never know if you're going to drop one or if you're in a tight spot and you just need some extra help or something that you can MacGyver in your head to get you out of the tree in a serious situation. You never know. So I always have 3 or 4 of these carabiners with me. This one goes on my bridge to my descender, and I have a few more in my backpack. Let's see. I have all of my gear, including my saddle, in my bag on my back on the way out to the woods. I've just I've come to find that I like it that way more instead of wearing the saddle in because of how far I walk. If only I had to walk like 200 or 300 yards from the truck, I'd probably wear my saddle. But man, this is so light. This is just an Academy hunting bag. I have my stick secured by those rubberized cable ties. Man, that's really good stuff. Let me see. No, I thought I had the package up there somewhere, but I don't. But this is super light. Let me show you guys. I have everything that I would to go hunting in here, like skinning knives, or well, my skinning knife, grunt call, a bottle of water, my stick, my saddle, my orange vest, my orange hat, my what else? I've got a beanie in there with a light. I have a couple of extra headlights in there. Let's see how much this weighs. So with everything in it, and this scale is accurate enough for what we're doing here. So I'm coming in at 11 pounds. This is my other hand, so you know I'm not supporting it on anything. See, I'm bouncing it. Around 11 pounds. So that is like nothing. I mean, it feels like something after miles of walking and a long day of hunting, but it's a lot better than 30 pounds on your back. This, I mean, you don't have to go break the bank to get a light setup like this. Like, I didn't go buy a $300 set of Skeletor climbing sticks. Now, don't get me wrong, they look nice. Like, they are some fine looking sticks, and they have some really nice looking platforms out there. And sometimes I do wish I had a platform, but I just cannot justify spending $200 on another piece of equipment that I have to carry out there. So I want it to go as light as possible for a reason. Like this is, I want to go out there with basically toothpicks and dental floss. Like, I don't want to go out there with everything you can possibly buy to hunt with. I don't carry cameras. I don't have a big climbing stand. I don't have 10 climbing sticks. I don't have all this extracurricular stuff. I have stuff to go out and get deer. That's all I carry with me. If it doesn't help me get a deer, it doesn't come with me. So just keep that in mind when you're packing everything. If you don't worry about the ounces at home, you're going to complain about the pounds out in the woods. It's going to suck, I promise. So just keep that in mind. Just random stuff that you're just throwing in your bag just in case. Really go through in your mind and think about, when would I use this? Like, what situation am I going to end up using XYZ? If you can't think of a reason, pitch it. You don't need it. You need a water bottle, a weapon, and a way to get in the tree. And you don't even have to have the way to get into the tree. I think I've sat on the ground about 1/3 of my hunts this season and have been just as successful, just because the overhead canopy was too thick to justify climbing. I'm not going to climb 6 or 7 feet. You're right there eye level with deer. So you might as well sit on the ground and hide in a bush. Um, but for tree climbing methods, that's what I'm doing from now on. I was feeling it out in the very beginning, and I was like, yeah, I could see how this could be a really good method. I like how quiet it is. It's way quieter than like a summit climber. I'm not knocking anyone who uses a climber, or especially a summit climber, but I had one, and man, you could be as quiet as you want to be with them. At some point, you just get fed up, and it sounds like pots and pans out in the woods. That's not going to help you. So this is your quietest method that I could see. I don't use lock-ons, so I don't know how quiet a lock-on setup is with a couple of climbing sticks. I'm sure you can make it really quiet, but then again, you come back to the the weight situation as far as how heavy your pack in and your pack out is. But man, thank you guys for watching. I know that was probably a lot. This is going to be too long of a video for people to actually watch, but I'm going to just go ahead and throw this information out there. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to that guy that I saw in Walmart. Man, his name starts with a K. I'm gonna have to look at it again, but I got your number. Shout out to you, man. That was pretty cool. First time ever that someone knew me somewhere else. That was pretty cool. Hope to see you around.